Happy anniversary!
Hey.
We've got a
Oh,
sim.
actually, I didn't realize we're gonna start the stream with the old build. Oh.
We
Yes.
thought we'd go in an upward trending arc instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, I hope people who tune in know we're looking at an old build. But is this the launch build, the EA launch build?
Pretty close. This is the Monday after launch, so from September 14th. It's relatively bug-free by September 2020 standards. Josh and I both kicked the tires and nothing exploded, so fingers crossed.
Oh, so we're trying to see what we've done in the year. Very exciting.
Yeah.
So can you
And we're
not
only
even
going to be on
control?
here about 15 minutes, I think.
You can't even control like individual aspects. You just have to randomize,
Nope.
right?
Nope, there's no beards. You can't wear the funky glasses.
I'll just spam.
Oh, that's the
them.
real shame. Everybody wants those funky
Yeah,
glasses.
no, those glasses are the highlight of the stream and the game.
And no randomizer on the name either.
Right, so Guo Ramirez. Let's go. I'm just gonna go pretty quick on this one because obviously we're only gonna spend about 15 minutes in here. But
This is probably relatively unchanged. We don't really
Yeah.
mess with this too much.
Well, there's no pictures.
Oh yeah.
Now you get pictures for your contacts and pictures for the ships that you win. Well, win is generous. You still have to pay for them. And
No
you can kind of see
mortgage.
around the periphery, like the lower left-hand corner status stuff is all different now.
Oh yeah, you should pull up inventory. That looks. Oh yeah, see.
oh,
all
that
those
looks so
trees.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we added bars and the whole UI was changed.
Right, what's part of the standard pickup kit? Right,
Oh
crowbar.
wait a minute though. This is wait. Oh, this is different too, right?
Yeah, this is
A little
completely
bit.
different. Well,
We have two tabs now, buying and selling,
That's right.
and the arrows are less confusing that way. This is not too different otherwise, though, except that your starting equipment is like hang yourself by your own rope, because you only get the pressure suit and I think a drill by
Yeah.
default.
wait, how do I have to? Oh, right, I have to write. No. How do I equip the pressure suit? There we go. Right, I
Zombie
just...
Punk says, I wanted to go about making a game. If I wanted to go about making a game like Ostranauts, what do I need to do? I'm learning Unity for this. Run away.
Set aside 5 or 6 years of your life.
Right, what you first have to do is you first have to make a completely different game that
Yeah,
is
start
nothing like
bootstrapping.
Ostranauts.
No, but seriously, like I think most game developers would say just start making stuff because it's kind of a long, steady climb to get to where you want to be, and I don't think any of us feel like we're all the way done through that climb yet. It's a gradual process. But if you can get something on the screen and then your input changes where that thing is on the screen, I find that's a huge step forward for me, because then it's like I can just keep incrementing and adding stuff to that, like make it fall, make it bounce, make it do that sorts of stuff. Because every time you do something like that, it's one more tool in your tool belt for making something more like Ostranauts.
Yes.
But Ostranauts is definitely not a first game kind of game.
No, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy as a first game.
It's a big game. Or I mean, already it's big, but it will be very big when it's done.
My first game ever was written on an Apple IIe in BASIC, and it was a text adventure version of Leisure Suit Larry.
No way. Leisure Suit Larry, dude. When I was a kid, I was like, oh my god. My parents wouldn't let me play it.
I can't believe they put that in a game.
Exactly. So there's no NPCs flying around here to run into you. And there's no
a nice,
no...
neat, perfect ring of derelicts.
Oh, I forgot, right? Because we moved the rarer stuff out further. There's no cops, which is nice, I suppose. There's no mortgage. Just a little nice leisurely experience we used to have on offer here.
I think this was Naiba's favorite phase of the game because he could just enjoy building his ship.
Naiba's on voice, everybody. Naiba, say hi.
Hello.
He exists.
Oh, he's real.
He has a working microphone.
And so there's probably like 6 or 7 ships, maybe not that many even. 4,
Yeah, this is
5
before
different kinds of
Naiba's
ships.
batch of new ships went in too, I think.
Can't remember.
Smiley ZP on Twitch says, if you crash into a cop ship and kill them and somehow survive, is it considered murder? High space rules. I don't think so.
We are currently designing. You want to clear that alarm?
Can't
You
do it.
can't. You can't. It's
Oh,
the
I
old
can't.
version.
Oh,
6.2,
God.
baby.
Who
Yeah.
made this game? We are currently designing a system of criminality / like social ostracization. So eventually something like that will kind of come back to haunt you. Whether it'll be straight up illegal or not, I guess remains to be seen. But eventually, if we design correctly, everything you do will sort of accrue a kind of social and legal cost and change your sort of standing in the community out here. So I imagine killing a cop would tick that number up a bit, maybe up a lot.
I didn't bring
Are
a
there any
word lamp
witnesses?
with me.
That's true. I don't know how we're gonna. Yeah, are we gonna have? Well, we can talk about this off screen. But do they
Smiley
have
says
to
no
s-
witnesses, so I think
Do
he's
they
safe.
have? Do they have to see
Yeah,
you
they're
for
safe.
that thing to tick up? Who knows? If you kill a cop in the forest, does it make a sound?
Well, that's the way it works in Neo Scavenger, right? If a DMC cop goes down and nobody was there to witness it, and he didn't have time to call for backup, then it didn't happen.
Well, there you go. I hope you brought a light.
I didn't.
There.
I forgot. I haven't
yeah,
played on this
classic.
version, so you know.
Classic mistake.
I know. But luckily, the light of the sparks shows me that this one is absolutely demolished on the inside. So
You just have to randomly torch things every couple seconds.
Oh yeah, the conduits look different.
But yes, I think this one's not really worth staying at. But it's very interesting seeing the old style. You know, having to.
Probably the biggest differences are going to be seen on OKLG.
Yes.
Right.
That'll be a big one. The PDA, even though it looks the same right now, if you click any of the PDA buttons, the PDA menu stuff all stays put.
Yeah, it doesn't slide out or whatever.
How do I? Oh, I gotta
The
go
objectives
into
all appear kind of on the screen instead of inside the PDA, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, there's no shift system. So there's no in fact there's no accounting at all. Like if you click on cash, that system. Oh wait.
There's an accounting system, but there's no mortgage or payments or missed payments.
That's right. We didn't have the kind of tools to interact with it yet.
No shifts. That's another thing.
This isn't a nice
and no
handwritten
memory
note.
on the nav station for your previous settings, so you always have to basically re-clear the note and zoom in and pan to where you were before.
You gonna go see OKLG?
Yeah, I mean we've got to check it out. Come on, like that's the last
Yeah.
thing we do on the old version.
It's one of the most visible changes for sure. And social combat, I think, would probably be worth seeing.
Well, the entire social system was completely revamped.
For anybody just joining us, this is not the newest version of Ostranauts, by the way.
We're
We're
looking
showing
back
an
at
older
the
version
past.
that came out around about launch time.
Because we have been working for a year.
Yeah.
And we also have been spending a lot of time thinking about the next year of development. So
For
look
a
back.
recap of that, there's a new video on YouTube today, in fact, where I talk about the stuff we have added and the stuff we are planning to add. It's about 10-ish minutes, maybe 8 minutes long. So if you want the short version, that would be a way to get it.
Oh,
Hey,
I don't.
please.
They don't dock you in
They
this
don't,
version.
they don't do anything. Yeah.
Just fly
Oh,
around.
that was a huge change. Actually, it took a long time to be able to get the cops to walk on your ship, and obviously that whole negotiation wasn't there. Wait, so Dan, what's in the what are you saying? How detailed are you being in this new video about? I haven't watched it yet.
Pretty high level, I guess. When we went through the project plan a couple days ago, we kind of listed like a sentence or two of each of the major features we plan on doing. It's about that level of depth.
Like in the document you sent over, it's about that level, like the narrative version.
Yeah, and not even that many. Like we probably had like 20 things in that list, and I probably was more like 10 in the video, just because some of them are like super deep details that are less exciting to talk about. So
Everyone who's been clamoring for new areas will be happy to know we've started scoping out the entire sort of playable space of the game, and it's pretty exciting, pretty cool.
somebody asked me on YouTube already if I thought that I'd be able to achieve the scope that I set out to achieve, which is it's always a tough question. I have a major problem with scope creep, so but I think so far it's still kind of on track for where we pictured being. I think we wanted to have more done by now, but as far as by the end of next year, we're still planning on doing it all.
Yeah, I think the scope is still certainly what planned to be, what players expect it to be. Obviously, we have all these internal plans that'll never get executed, but that's how games always work.
Yeah.
They want to know, have any of the devs played Hard Space Shipbreaker, and can you make it canon in the NEO? I have played it briefly and really liked it.
I spent a fair amount of time in that game too. I liked it a lot. Can you make it canon in the New Earth Ostracon? Well, I think Blackbird Interactive may have a thing or two to say about that. But I have a feeling if I was ever hanging out with BBI folks that we would happily throw a few Easter eggs each other's way in our games, because we seem to like very similar games.
Oh yeah, and the being in massive debt thing, we obviously talked about Hard Space Shipbreaker when we were coming up with that.
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a very common note between the two games, the sort of oppressive capitalism of it all.
We're on the old K-Leg, everybody.
It was basically talking about that plus like student debt.
Yeah. I only recently got a mortgage of my own for a house. Like, I'm in my 40s now, and we just got our first house. So, like, it's pretty fresh in my memory, all the hoops you had to jump through to get a mortgage and how oppressive they can be.
Well, especially you as a freelance game dev, I can't imagine, dude.
Yeah, can you imagine how the conversation went with the bank? It's like, so I want you to lend me a bunch of money. What's your income like?
Well,
let's look at the 5-year average.
it depends. Did a YouTube influencer? Are we talking about before or after a YouTube influencer?
Can you send me a pay stub for? I don't have pay stubs. What are you talking about?
Steam
I'll
delivers
talk to my
me
players. They'll send me some money.
Steam delivers me a big briefcase full of cash every month.
I just spin the wheel, and then one month I get a briefcase, and the next month I get an envelope.
Just open the case and like moths fly out. So all the statuses and traits and stuff we've moved to be a little bit more visually legible. Obviously, we have the new bar system. The bar system we have now, which we'll see in a minute, is only now sort of starting to be plugged into mechanics, and we're going to keep working on that. But it's at least now legible, and you can kind of get a sense for how people are feeling. Before, we just had these adjectives, which we still have, but adjectives in the colors. But it was sort of hard to be like, okay, autonomy, liberated, like what does that mean? And compare, is that like good? How good is it? So we worked on that a bit.
Yeah, and the rate at which those are revealed is a little bit more manageable now, instead of just being hit by a wall of text.
Oh, also, yeah, everybody in OKLG just lost their minds all the time. Like, you played for like 20 minutes and everybody was just like sobbing in the bathroom. So that's fixed.
was reflective of the time in which the game was made. So
I can definitely feel the friction of this though, as compared to the newer one. Like there's so many little things. Like,
yeah,
I've got this stuck
quality
up
of
and I
life
can't
things.
make it go away, and it just takes me really far away. And the shop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think then should we get to the actual latest and greatest?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, let's go for it. Oh, all those little door pin numbers littering the ground.
Yep, I remember the old pin numbers.
We don't like that. Oh, what? Plus, there's no manual, so what's even the point of playing this game? You gotta have a manual. I guess you did have a manual, but you gotta have the one I made.
So I think you just have to fire up a new app, but it's still streaming on Twitch right now.
Yes. So Twitch is still going. They just have a looking for game to capture thing that they see right now.
Right.
And then
Discord's a little more low tech than that. We just
yes, you just don't get anything for a moment. And then I boot up the new version once it finishes downloading.
There is another question on Discord though about Zombie Punk asks, have you ever played the X series? X4 is the only one I haven't touched yet. Break ships to pay your rent. Space 2021. I remember fondly the first X game, whatever it was called, and like that feeling you get when you go through the sort of space warp and you end up in alien space and you're just kind of like all on your own. That was definitely a big moment for me in gaming. And I've played a couple of the other X's. I don't know if 4 was among them though. That's like sort of empire business simulation level, which sometimes I'm into, but I think for Ostranauts, the thing I was hoping to kind of differentiate it was like a very intimate, you are the captain experience and like experiencing it through one person's eyes. And a lot more of the kind of culture and economy and setting exploration.
Right. So we actually have customization now in the starting menu. So that's good. Quick, someone give us a name. Anyone? Twitch, Discord, first name that gets thrown out. I'll go as long as it's not too.
Josh, Joshu.
Rod Munch.
Right.
There you go, Rod
I'm gonna
Munch.
go with John Shepherd. Oh wait, no, was it Rod Munch first?
That's the safe choice.
Smiley ZP says Rod Munch.
I saw Rod Munch first.
Right. If Rod Munch came first, I think
this guy kind of looks like what's the dude? What's the guy? The streamer guy?
This guy looks like a Rod Munch, if we're gonna be honest.
He really does. But who's the streamer guy? The Mr. Disrespect, Dr. Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect.
This guy looks like Dr. Disrespect.
He does look kind of like that, yeah.
Mr. Disrespect was my father.
This guy didn't go to university.
Lost his accreditation, or?
So there's those new pictures, obviously.
Yep. Subtle difference here too. The randomization for like special events is quote unquote more random now. It was technically random before, which meant you could get the same event twice in a row or 3 times even.
Oh, right.
Now it fudges the numbers so you don't see repeats as much, both for events and the type of ship you might muster out with.
Right, so I was picking the right option every single time, and I managed to get like the least money possible, I think.
You mean the right?
You didn't get any
not
money.
The left, not the left. You don't mean the correct option.
Yes, I mean the not left option.
Yeah.
And
you know what I just thought of, Dan? Once we get the job system firing, spoiler alert, everybody, it'd be interesting to like make some of the jobs be feasible to do with the good starting pod. Do you know what I mean? Like you could get right into work just with the starting pod you have.
Yeah, I don't see why not. That makes sense. Look at that slick buy sell interface.
Much nicer.
Smiley says, gonna be honest, I get Space Station 13 vibes when we head to K-Leg. What's that? Space Station 13?
Have you not seen it before?
No.
Oh, you should definitely check it out. I've never played it before, but I definitely checked it out when everybody who saw the game was talking about Space Station 13. Because it is kind of like the same top-down, systems-heavy, sprite-based. In this case, or in Space Station 13's case, it's a station with multiple players, kind of almost Among Us like in some ways. So like there's somebody trying to sabotage things, and then there's a bunch of people trying to do their jobs.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna look at it real quick.
But the level of detail in that game is pretty high, and something I think I'd aspire to. Although from what I understand, the performance is pretty rough for that level of detail. Like there's just so much going on that the engine struggles at times.
In fact, should I even bother salvaging something, or should I just go straight to OKLG? Because I think that's what everyone cares about, right?
Well, it looks like Cyrus is heading out. See you, Cyrus.
Hi, Cyrus. You could probably get a ship. Why not? I mean, because there's all these new ships.
True, true. I want to show up. We need to show off that.
Gosh, you might be the only person I've watched play the game who uses the camera rotation in the nav station.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I use it sometimes, but not
It's
that
smart though, like the way you're using it to sort of line up with the field lines.
It's good because when you get the zoom in, you can tell your alignment, and then you zoom out, and it's like you're still. But yeah, and maybe it's part of being like a game developer. You know, once you use like a scene view tool or something or whatever. I don't know.
There's two different schools of two different flight schools emerging here. There's the space aligned and the ship aligned.
Hey, Quad Awesome. Hello to you. Quad Awesome says, "Hey, I caught you live. Hello."
Hello.
Hello. Hello. We're also in Discord. In fact, I think there's significantly more of us here in Discord. If you want to come by there.
We got 7 in Twitch, and if I had to hazard a guess, 15-ish.
15. Yep. Good guess.
Is that what it was? 15?
14, but I don't know if it's counting me yet.
Clear the alarms. I love to see it.
every time a feature like that goes in, everybody's just like, thank God.
Well, there's a new alarm too, so eventually there's gonna be people are just gonna be masters at deciphering like 10 different alarms.
Yeah, I was thinking about that like pretty consciously when I did the audio for it, because like the space shuttle has multiple alarm tones, and I think this is true of a lot of things. Like Navy does it too. Every alarm has a distinct sound in terms of pitch, pattern, and it's meant to be aurally distinct. So like when eventually we get around to adding fire, it's just like a wide oscillating, almost like a fire engine or a car siren, which is distinct from the proximity alarm, which is distinct from the police alarm, and the little beeping alarm in your pressure suit. So they could all be going off and you'd be like, well, I know I've got a lot of problems, but I kind of have an idea which ones they are.
Yeah, you were talking about jet fighters, I think, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, we were sharing those videos of what it feels like when you get targeted by a missile and when you're flying like an F-14 or whatever.
I totally went with the F-14 one too.
Yeah, it's a cool sound.
I could have chosen an F-18 or something more modern, but I was like, no, we're going 1980s coin-op arcade sounds.
Yes, look at all these nice, tasty bars that we now have instead of just the nouns. It's
so refreshing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Still have all our traits and all our skills.
And stackable items in the inventory. The ground reflects actual ground space around you. You can pick up and drop items in one click instead of 3.
Miley asks, are melon heads from space, or is that an Earth cryptid? Wow, that's an interesting question.
I've always thought they were Earth cryptids because there's a few different places in the Midwest US where melonhead-like legends emerged. And one of the theories is that they were children with hydrocephaly, I think is what it's called. Basically where your cranium starts filling up with fluid and your brain just kind of, or your cranium expands. And so it gives them that kind of melon-heady look. But different people have different theories about what the melon heads represent. They are definitely Earth-based, though.
It's a pretty sweet ship you got here, buddy.
Yeah, it's like 90% intact. Why did this always happen?
That's fine. It's honestly good.
We
'cause
just do this every stream to troll Naiba.
We want to go to OKLG anyway. Flip the switch. I think you could just flip the switch and you're.
It's just there.
Is it?
Hang on a sec.
Interesting.
I don't know why that's happening.
This might be a newly introduced bug. Fingers crossed not, but.
Oh.
Try
go down and hit the other switch, maybe.
Is there another one?
I thought there's one connected to the batteries down there. The one connected to the battery down there, a little further down, where the blue light is.
Oh, there's so many. Okay.
Who designed this ship?
There you go.
There might be a use point conflict on that switch by the reactor. Like,
oh, it's at
might have
the
to
reactor use point as well, or something.
Like, I wonder, if it, because it's on the corner of the reactor, or maybe like the use point is inside the reactor. I'll have to check that one.
We don't need the reactor anyway. We just do everything by battery, right? Why not?
Eddie's Kingdom says we need a coffee alarm, and we should.
We do.
Coffee is life.
Yeah.
Hey, drill.
Better patch that corner.
Another question from Discord, Mega VX. What inspired the creation of Ostranauts? Many things. Not the least of which would be Firefly, Cowboy Bebop, Alien/Aliens, Blade Runner, The Expanse lately. It was a pretty good analog for it. And Crusoe says, it's come a long way in a year. Yeah, it really has. Like, some things more subtle than others, but it was a full year of work, that's for sure.
And a lot of the stuff we did this year, at least since I came on, is front-facing. As, like, it wasn't the kind of stuff that immediately reached players. Some of it was. But I think next year, this upcoming year, I should say, is going to be more... a lot more player-facing stuff, so it's going to be an exciting year for Ostranauts.
Yeah, it feels like we're kind of into full production now, whereas before was still a little bit of pre-production and like fixing the framework to support production.
Yeah, and our plan has always been like, let's make OKLG varied enough, and we're still not there yet, varied enough that all kinds of things can happen, and then we can just stamp out the rest of the system. And that's really when people are going to be like, oh, wow, this game got big fast.
Yeah, I'm hoping, once we get that first step, it'll be leaps and bounds from there.
I didn't buy any patches. That's the other thing I always forget.
Yeah, I love the patches. Naiba hates the patches.
I hate the patches.
They make it too
it's
easy.
An aesthetic choice.
Naiba, why don't you tell me why you hate patches? You just think you can, well, yeah, why don't you got a voice now, so why do you hate patches?
Well, because you patch the ship, and then you've still got to spend the resources on fixing the patch.
Why? Why? Just leave it on there.
But it's ugly.
I think it's cool. I think it's like when you have patches on your jeans, which is also cool, as everyone knows.
No.
Right.
This is the only early access game they looked forward to on day one. Love it. Thank you. So good to hear that. We're aiming to make this exciting to anyone who takes a first look at it, and hopefully the screenshots do that more and more every day. Coffee intake becomes a mandatory need. Yep. Actually, speaking of, I don't think I put this anywhere on the project plan, but there's an item that we've talked about called Ossifex pen, which is basically like a bone growth enhancer, or I guess bone destruction reducer. For living in microgravity so long, your bones are atrophying, your muscles are atrophying, and your bones are kind of dissolving slowly unless you keep up a certain regimen, and even then. So Ossifex pen is a product that it's almost like a subscription product that you need to keep your bones in a healthy state, which is the perfect kind of thing to throw in there as like a a mortgage-like heartbeat, right? Like, oh, I need to make my next Ossifex pen payment, or else I'm gonna start atrophying. So I have to remember to kind of circle back and put that on the list, because
Yeah, we gotta put that on the feature
may
list.
only be in my head.
Crusoe asks, do you have a sense of percent progress on what you hope to accomplish in the That's in Order focus time? Percent progress on what you hope to accomplish in the That's in Order. You mean like...
The feature vote that we did in December, I think, was we're going to focus on That's in Order, which is making the crew more useful.
Oh, yes.
And easier to deal with. So that one, I don't think we're there yet. I think what we are discovering, though, is that it is forever. That's one of those can always be better type tasks. So we've started allowing ourselves to do some other things in parallel with it. Because even today, like, I was fixing a bug where the crew would not do something that you were tasking them with because of something that failed. And it's always going to be, there's always going to be a world where it's easier to use crew, or they're going to be smarter about what they do. So I think that's going to be an ongoing thing. In terms of progress on it, maybe 60%, 70.
Yeah, it kind of became a design problem more than like a tech problem, because there aren't really enough systems in the game right now that you can't just do yourself, if that makes sense. Like, most of the stuff you can just handle alone. So we realized we have to build out more systems so that there's more work than one person can do. And obviously, once that's in place, and there's like, then you're gonna be like, oh wow, I really wish there was somebody else on this ship helping me out. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, you want, there's a lot of reasons you might want crew, one of which is what you just detailed, Corey. Another which might be you can't be awake all the time, and things are going to happen while you're sleeping. Or just for a multi-week trip across the system, you know, being alone all the time in a spaceship for weeks at a time, you're going to start having needs that aren't being met socially. So yeah, I think there's various things we need to build to kind of leverage having crew, as well as just the sort of mechanical aspects of making the crew easy to use. And then making sure the crew don't kill you or themselves readily over and over again has been a constant struggle.
Hey, we've got the new art there.
Yay!
I didn't see
Charlie's latest art.
Oh yeah, look at that, everybody. Let's do a dramatic reading.
The doors to
Kalik.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Do you
go
want-
ahead. No.
The doors to Kalik slide open, and you're greeted by the familiar aroma of a station vendor fare. Spot the prawn stir fry and suya curry, kebab of chicken in a yaji spice rub, Szechuan beef with pink peppercorn. Your head knows the meat is aquaponic or lab-grown, or worse, but your heart tells you that anything prepared by human hands is better than Trench's chow. Tired-looking spaces circulate between the refuel kiosk and the breaker yard, moving in and out of the gossamer haze of cigarette smoke that is a permanent fixture on the station. The smoke's a Sungara Viceroys, the breaker brand of choice. Folks here will chain smoke them unfiltered no matter how many times the IOTIM execs fine them for overworking the CO2 scrubber. Station centres are connected by rail, a single car shuttle system that is constantly in a state of disrepair. The scrap shop in the port will buy junk back from almost anyone, but industrious scavengers know that if you want a premium price for a working piece, then you're going to have to find a reliable fence.
Hey, do little clap emojis.
You've got a career ahead of you as the voice of the next Thief installment.
So that's some new art from Charlie, everybody.
There's one more too, which isn't currently firing correctly, but I hope to have that fixed because it's another awesome piece.
We have some more questions here. Let's see. Devs, I think you already talked about this, but will there ever be combat, be it melee, range, ship to ship, sabotage, things like that? I'm curious.
We did decide actually in a project review that we have to have some sort of ship-to-ship combat, at least in the sense that another ship has to be a threat to you for some reason. You know, it's kind of silly to have a pirate come up on you and then they can't do anything. So I think we decided there that ship-to-ship combat will at least be there in some sense. I don't know if it's going to be like kitting out your ship with torpedoes and you know, like a military ship or something, but there may be like proximity defense cannons or sensors and countermeasures and various things like that. And then as far as personnel combat, it's a similar thing there because conversations they are eventually going to run out of civil options and turn into something more physical. And I think it'll end up being kind of like through the social combat UI that you just saw there, except it'll be with physical options instead of verbal ones. So I think to answer your question, the short version, yes, probably, or almost certainly now. But it'll take some time to build because those are pretty complex systems.
Yeah, honestly, the melee thing is really just a question of how granular we want it to be at this point, because it seems like we could implement an easy version of it like tomorrow. In fact, there's already an easy version of it in the code somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But
knockout thing.
Yeah, the knockout thing. Yep. But
yeah,
it's just more a matter of, again, it's a design question. Like how combat focused do we want this game to be? If there is the option to just beat everybody up you see, what are the social consequences, you know? So, but yes, you'll be able to kill people.
Fine.
What, you don't like flirting charismatic? You gonna kill people? So we have another an expansion of this. I'm thinking more like turrets, like they're ones they slammed into a ship. Yeah, so their point defense cannons, PDCs, are at least going to be available for if you're going through like a mining, like a, you know, an asteroid heavy area or something at the very least. And we're talking a lot about letting players improvise weaponry. I guess the only thing we're maybe not talking about, or talking about less these days, is like, as Dan said, putting a giant military torpedo on your ship, because it's like, we were thinking about it like how hard it would be right now in America to get a tank, you know? Like it'd be hard.
Yeah.
Like
I think they'll probably have to exist even if it's just in abstract text form in the game, because there are militaries in the world of Ostranauts.
Yeah.
You know, Xinhua and the US outpost on Titan both are stated to have navies, space navies. So they have a means of enforcing their rule with weapons. But like, I think a lot of this game, in some ways, think of it like you would maybe with Firefly. You know, there's an episode or two where they strap an anti-aircraft cannon to the top of the boat, but it's not a combat ship and it's not a combat show, even though they do get into a lot of fights. Mostly those are personal fights or fist fights or pistol fights, and clever hiding and avoiding detection.
Now, I don't know if people saw what I just did there, but I came up to this person and they were absolutely terrified and they just kept like ending the conversation. But because I focused on the calm down skill in the conversation, it's like the sort of the move, I eventually managed to get it up to only anxious, and now they'll talk to me more. So, you know.
Very nice. Yeah,
nearly anxious now.
We have a scouting system in the game, if you haven't experimented with this yet, where if you kind of interact with a stat enough, so when you first meet somebody, you don't know anything about them, but if you interact with them more and more, you'll learn whatever stat you're manipulating every time it goes up or down. And eventually, if you talk to someone long enough, you kind of reveal their entire stat suite. Some are harder to get to than others. Like meaning is really hard to get to right now because we don't have a lot of moves that mess with that. But that's kind of cool. Like it's sort of hard to, in real life, to discerns what drives people that deep down, you know?
Yeah, that sort of fulfillment in your life's purpose. I mean, anybody's going to have a hard time achieving that. So,
Yeah, or both for yourself and understanding where somebody else lies with that, unless you just ask them directly, I suppose.
Ooh, they're selling the black EVA suit.
Oh, really?
I wish I had the cash for that. That's cool.
Oh, and there's they want the bar. Oh, I thought they were selling the bar. Yeah, they want the bar.
So,
there's some cash for you.
because I just sold that mirror, come on, of course I've got to do it. I've got to get the black
absolutely.
EVA suit. Like, you can't
Impersonate
pass that up.
Impersonate a cop on
Oh, look at me.
stream.
Look at me go.
Don't you get kind of exhausted walking around in EVA suits? Isn't there like a little bit of a cost?
I think so. They do weigh a fair amount, but K-Leg is an asteroid that's only 33 kilometers across. So it has pretty minimal gravity. You're almost in 0G. You're still probably going to get worn out from activity, but not like if you were carrying the full load on Earth.
Hey, this bartender's a bit nicer to talk to. Which I guess makes
Zombie
sense,
pump
actually.
Says, I assume fencing weapons will be difficult. Like the more deadly weapons, the harder it will be to get, let alone fence it. And some fences won't take burners with bodies on them. Yeah. I guess we haven't talked too much about like personal weaponry. Like we were just talking about Firefly, they have pistols and stuff. I guess we have talked about a few scenes where there's a gun involved. So I don't know, Dan. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean,
the
the setting has such a wide range of legalities that, like, I could picture K-Leg being a place where it's pretty easy to come across contraband or dangerous items, whereas going someplace a little more regulated like Hongdao, it would be a miracle if you get something that even resembles gunpowder there. So I think a lot of those questions will be answered as we get more of those places up and running, and we can start controlling which ones make it hard to get versus easy. Because smuggling should totally be a thing in a game like this. If you can't be a space captain smuggler, then why am I making this game?
Yeah, you got to be able to have a little pistol on your hip,
on your carpenter's belt and a pistol.
Yeah, just like now his name's slipping my mind. What's the Firefly captain's name?
Malcolm Reynolds.
Malcolm Reynolds. Yeah.
Not sure if so this is Salmon on Discord says, not sure if being able to operate an EVA suit qualifies as an interesting skill on a breaker station. Seems to me that would be the norm. You're probably right. Although I can't wait to get into some of the finer details like that. They kind of play on that in a Firefly episode, and I think it would be fun to try and ape that in the game too, where if you don't know how to wear an EVA suit, you can do it wrong and really put yourself in jeopardy. Like it's not sealed, or it comes off at the worst possible time, and it might even be a thing where if you're hiring somebody, you want to make sure they have those skills, so you're not wasting your time sort of babysitting them.
This bartender's got a bit of a dark history, you know.
What'd you learn? Oh, you're talking about their family. Oh yeah, this is new stuff. We should be talking about this. So there's when you become friends with people now, you kind of get a new set of dialogue options where you can kind of learn about their home and their family, and they really pay off towards your emotional payloads, which is why this guy's all green here, because you're kind of really connecting with Isaiah here. So what did we learn? You ask Isaiah about their home. Isaiah says they'd rather not talk about their home. You ask about their family. It says their older brother is always trying to steal the limelight. You asked about their mother, and he says they take after their mother, easy to like, hard to love. Wow. Isaiah. Isaiah seems easy to love to me, but what do I know?
I mean,
So that
Isaiah does have max intimacy stats, so that would imply that they are, in fact, quite easy to love.
he must have low self-esteem then. Low
Or
self-respect.
security, maybe? It looks kind of like an expression of fear.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
look, you're right.
terrified.
He's terrified.
Oh, and he ran away.
Sorry, I gotta go.
I flirted, and it just, I mean,
Well,
I just...
who among us hasn't just completely fled when someone's tried to flirt with them?
Yeah. And plus, I'm dressed in a cop outfit right now, so that probably adds to the
So
fear factor.
intimidating.
That's true. That's true.
Eddie's Kingdom says this game reminds me of Objects in Space. I'll take that as a compliment because when I first saw Objects in Space, I was like, this looks really cool. I think the only thing I wanted more of in that game was to be able to walk around the ship that I had. It was neat to be able to see the rooms, but I just kind of wanted to inhabit it. But yeah, that was a fun experience. I enjoyed that. Every space setting has slavery of some kind. Will astronauts have it? I don't know if it'll be quite as on the nose as that, but like Hangdao is meant to be kind of like, if anybody's seen the movie Elysium, just the most expensive space station in the system that was bankrolled by all the richest people and corporations, and the waiting list to be let onto that station is a mile long. But there's a second class of citizen there, which are basically the technicians and blue collar workers. I think we called them the E2B, E1B visa holders. But basically they're like permanent residents, or they're like on work visas. So they're not even citizens of Hangdao, and they have less rights. So that might be an example, sort of like what you're talking about. And then other places where like Tharsis Landing has the labyrinth. The labyrinth is basically a holding facility for refugees that want in, but they're not allowed in yet. And they eventually rebelled and sort of created their own de facto colony. So there's a lot of, I guess, situations like that where there's a definite discrepancy between who has and who doesn't have freedom and luxuries.
Yeah, this is an economy, I mean, a society that advanced off of, contemporary world, Earth society that we all live in now, in a way, obviously. And so, extrapolating from that, it's more closer to like wage slavery or, hyper dystopic capitalist slavery than it is like chattel slavery.
Corporate overlords keeping you under their thumb with every mechanism at their disposal. Shuzev says, I believe that gunfights inside ships would be hard because bullets could pierce the walls of the ship. Maybe different types of gun. Using only ballistic would make a ship or a station turn into a Swiss cheese. I think that'd be an interesting sort of thought experiment to play out, because the kinds of things that threaten a spaceship from the outside are like hypervelocity debris, radiation, heat, and the kinds of things that a slug thrower presents are a lot like that too. So, but you're right. Like if I fired a high caliber or high energy kinetic round inside a ship, there's a pretty good chance it's going to punch a hole in the wall, and that's going to depressurize the ship. So will we see things like, softer shot, like if you were bird hunting or something like that? Maybe, or maybe they're like rubber bullets for like riot control. What we see nowadays for riot control.
Like gel rounds, I think, is what they have in the Expanse, where it's like obviously they made this material up, but it's like a material that it's a bullet, but when it strikes into something, it's made of gel, and it kind of like expands really fast and into your body, kind of explodes that way, which is like brutal when it hits people, but like doesn't do anything when it hits ship walls.
Yeah, kind of like a higher tech hollow point or something.
Yes,
like that.
exactly. Right, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Like, I think we kind of played a bit in Neo Scavenger with non-lethal weapons with the VMAD systems there. and like the DMC Skybike has basically like a taser shotgun shell that they use. There's a lot of different options for technologies to evolve in this environment, but I mean, someone might show up on your spaceship with a pistol that can puncture the wall, and that's threatening, right? Like they don't even have to hit you. Then they could hit anything they want.
Somebody got
So-
off of Earth with that rifle.
Yeah.
Walks on your ship right out of Neo Scavenger. Walks up with a the
You dock
FMK
with
rounds.
a derelict, and there's a guy in squirrel hide tunic with a hunting rifle.
That'd be so badass.
Oh man, this is absolutely insane idea. But I just thought, like, what if you could like port your Neo Scavenger character into Ostranauts? Like that'll be way too much work. Like, and all the items and everything. But like,
There's some
I think
engine
it's an
overlap.
interesting question though. Like if you finish a game of Neo Scavenger, or let's say like Neo Scavenger 2, one of the exit options is you get into a launch facility, launch yourself up, get shredded in orbit, and you're just kind of floating powerless in a pod that made it through the Kessler field. And then you start the game that way. Like that'd be an interesting continuation of the story on Earth, right?
Yeah, I mean, since we're still in pre-production of Neo Scavenger 2, we can just say whatever we want about it. So yeah,
We
sure.
can promise anything we want.
That would be sweet, though. I totally agree. We have been thinking a lot about how to connect the two worlds a lot better.
I think in my head they're parallel stories. Like as you are talking to Lei Leon at K-Leg right here in this bar, down on Earth, Philip Kindred is crawling through the mud trying to get away from a dogman. Like this is contemporaneous.
Yep.
And that gives us the opportunity to kind of explore more of what's going on in the whole solar system at the same point in time. But yeah, there's nothing stopping us from maybe allowing one world to collide with the other. They are the same universe.
Yeah, and in terms of connecting the stories, there are some points of overlap. The Martha's Army and more and more I'm sort of brainstorming. And this is based on something you implied, Dan, the possibility that Shinhwa might have a kind of a back channel to Earth, and they guard that very closely.
Yeah,
maybe
there's a bit of a rumor with Jade Rabbit Colony, which
That's right.
is the first off-world colony, and it was established by Shinhwa, and nobody else or very few other people have a direct line to Earth, but it's rumored that somebody there does, and yeah, they jealously protect that information.
I've got
Yeah, so
all
there
this
might be
person's
some
skills. So, and I've made them my friend. So, and this is a cop. Fingers crossed.
That's a
Oh
cop.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
This whole time
I've
you've
been
working
grinding
towards
it.
that goal.
Yeah.
Well, good on you, A, for achieving that, and B, for proving something I wasn't sure actually still worked. Was can you make a friend from nothing?
Yeah, you can.
Like in theory, it was supposed to work, but I can't remember the last time I actually tested it. So
What'd you learn about him? You want to catch us up? I wasn't paying attention.
So, this Lei Leon guy, he's our friend. K-Leg permanent enforcement officer. He's a leader. He's brave, but he's also impatient. Yeah, so he
Remember
can't.
anything about his family, where he's from?
Wait, you know
Oh,
what?
he's-
Let's ask. Let's ask him about home. I'd rather not remember those days.
Dark days. Ask about his family.
Family. Hope they have kids one day. That's cute. Change the subject.
sounds like
as
a pretty
well,
stable
anything.
person.
Yeah, he seems pretty stable. Brave leader and impatient does sound like a cop to me.
Skilled in persuasion as well. You know.
Yeah, he's persuaded you that he's actually a cop.
Smiley ZP on Twitch says it looks like Shaggy grew up.
He does look like Shaggy.
Dr. Disrespect. No, sorry, Mr. Disrespect talks to Shaggy.
So what you're hoping is going to happen here is that the next time the police pull you over outside K-Leg, it's Lay Leon at the
Yes.
driver's seat, and the two of you get to play buddy buddy instead
there's
of getting
another cop.
shaken down.
Quick, let's socialize.
I know all the cops on this joint.
I mean, you could just walk around and befriend every cop, and then anytime a cop
Yeah.
pulled you over, you wouldn't
See?
have to pay fines.
See, I'm thinking about this. Big brain, big brain. Oh, we did
Uh-oh.
just someone's crashing into K-Leg.
Someone ran into K-Leg.
Is anyone else
Amateurs
getting
again.
kind of like crackle or static?
I am, yeah.
Yeah,
That's not in the game, though, is
that
it?
is in the game.
That might be the game.
Might have to read.
Is it not meant to be in the game?
No, I've never heard that before.
I think that's clipping from the collision noise being restarted so many times per second.
Right.
Maybe
Shall I
shut down
try
and reload.
Flying away from K-Leg.
Brace
In the hopes
yourself.
That this other person.
We may be watching a bug in progress, so I'm
Hey.
keen to see what the nav station looks like.
This game has bugs?
What? I thought we solved all of them. Right, yeah, we're getting the spinny person bug. Look at that. I really just know how to fly. Right, okie dokie. I'm gonna do a quick save.
Good
Exit to
thinking.
menu. And
Send me that save file.
Yes, I'm gonna quickly.
Wait, but I hear the buzzing again. I hear the buzzing right now.
Oh, you're
Don't
right.
you?
I do too.
Do you?
Yeah, do you, Josh?
I'm not hearing buzzing.
Huh.
It's
me-
fainter, like it's less pronounced now, but
Let me see if I hear it on Twitch. Hold on.
I'm wondering if it's my mic, but it can't be because I'm not green when you're saying you're hearing it. Okay, now.
Chico says that guy was doing some Tokyo drifting. Just burnouts right outside K-Leg.
So, trying to impress someone on the station. And he said, "Hey, look out this window. I'm going to do something really cool." Right.
It definitely seems to come and go with the volume from the game. So if there's a lot,
I can't hear it when I go over to Twitch, so I think it's a Discord thing.
oh,
So maybe
interesting.
stop your Discord stream, Josh,
Right. Okay.
and then restart it.
Oh, I am getting the clipping thing again. When I'm here with the spinning person. I'm just gonna exit whilst I restart the stream on Discord. Hey, more technical
Smiley ZP
difficulties.
was asking if someone is your friend or have their palms greased, will they turn the blind eye? And that's actually something Corey's working on right now with the police conversation. What happens if the police pull you over and it's a friend of yours or somebody that likes you or dislikes you even? There should be some custom options there for that.
Actually,
Um,
even in the patch, the public patch right now, I have built in an option to pay off the cops such that they don't fine you and they become your friend. So if you give them a big enough bribe, they will
that's
become
true.
they will become your friend and they won't fine you. So you should try
Ooh.
it.
So A, the crackle seems to be gone now.
Yes.
B, whatever Tokyo Drifter was up to, he seems to have moved on.
Yes, from the looks of things.
And that was maybe just the save restart that fixed it.
I think so.
The question is there a silent bug that prevented him from flying away, or did he just need a moment?
Oh, someone on Twitch said they did hear the crackle.
I think when it was
Yeah.
crashing, there was definitely I could hear a crackle and a rumble, but once it stopped crashing, you said there was still a crackle, and I didn't hear it.
This person has the same hair as you.
Hey, look at us go. We're matching. We'll be new best buds in no time.
If you become lovers, you can be doppelbangers. You ever heard that one?
I've never heard that.
Bring
Oh gosh.
bringing class to the stream.
Sorry, everybody.
Zescu the Wolf asks, I have to wonder why they never clean up the space junk around Earth. I really want to know, like, what's stopping them from trying to clean up the mess. I think it's just, what are you going to clean it up with? As soon as you get a ship up there, it becomes part of the mess and the mess gets bigger. But B, there's just so much mess. Like, imagine if the mess you were trying to clean up is moving at multiple kilometers per second, possibly one moving one way, the other moving the other way, and it's like you put your hand in there to collect one, you're going to get shredded by the other. I think you'd have to probably start from the outside and work your way in or something, and it'd take forever, and nobody has the resources to do that. I think that's the answer I would give to that question.
There's also probably a genuine, like, tragedy of the commons type thing, similar to what's going on right now on Earth with, like, cleaning up the ocean, right? It's like there's not really an joint infrastructure in place such that everybody agrees, let's go clean this trash out of the ocean, right? Like, because it's like nobody owns this space, and so it's just like there's no, like, who's gonna do it? Is Earth gonna? I mean, is Mars gonna do it? I'm sorry. Let me scale back. Is, like, Shinhua gonna do it? Is Brazil gonna do it? Is the U.S. gonna do it?
Is there a U.S.
Exactly.
on Earth to even do it?
The infrastructure for any of that stuff just got completely plummeted after the ablation cascade. So not looking good down there.
There's a physical barrier to doing it, which is already quite hard, and then there is an economic barrier to doing it, which is maybe even worse.
I wonder if there's an analog, like a giant world-consuming problem that nobody seems to want to actually face because of institutional.
No, I think things are pretty good down here on Earth right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, people are having, I think, a valid discussion about ways to solve this in Discord. Why don't you shoot the trash? Because the trash becomes two trashes.
Or many trashes.
Or many trashes. And now they're all moving faster.
I was
You've all
looking
played Asteroids, you know how this goes.
Yeah, exactly. I was looking at the scale at which how much stuff there'd have to be up there for there to be an ablation cascade, and just thinking about how much space there is in orbit around Earth. I mean, it's just so big up there. So there has to be tons and tons of stuff. So in the astronauts world, a lot of stuff has been shot up there. A lot of satellites and a lot of, I guess, other ships and the like.
I think we also learned that a dangerous thing in orbit does not have to be very large.
Oh no, not at all.
Like a ball bearing, which is a millimeter in diameter and maybe weighs like a gram. I don't know. Like, it doesn't take much to cause a catastrophic failure if it hits you fast enough.
Yeah, like puncturing straight through your hull. Not good.
Right, we've got this
Or
other
even,
cop
like,
as a friend again.
You have a second friend?
Yes.
Second cop friend.
Sophie, Kai, Maynard, and Lay Leon are your two cop friends from K-Leg.
And I'm in my illegally bought cop outfit. Maybe that's how I was able to make friends with them. I just thought I was one of them.
This is Serpico. You're doing Serpico. Wait, no, Serpico, he's the cop and he's like he's a
hold
dirty
on. Airlocks.
Aha,
You're
now
gonna
you say
kill
that,
everybody.
but auto-closing down.
Oh, I don't trust myself anymore.
Yeah, you programmed that in, dude.
I know better than to trust things I've built.
That's true.
Okay, so the hope here is we're gonna get pulled over by one of our cop friends, and then we can.
Oh, I immediately docked because I'm an idiot and I pressed the button too many times.
Did you double click?
Yeah, I did.
Did you push the changes from yesterday, Dan?
This should be including everything up to yesterday, including yesterday.
I can't even remember now whether the evidence stuff was today or yesterday. That was yesterday, right?
one of the evidence things is definitely in here.
Okay, yeah.
Are you being?
Right, the Port Authority is trying to dock me whilst I'm on Kalig.
That
Bro.
shouldn't be happening.
Let me out. Right, okay, come on.
Are they
Come on,
ramming? No, I think they're just trying to dock themselves.
Hey, right, okay. I've
Oh,
been
they
docked.
did dock you.
All right, who do we have?
Someone different. No.
Okay, well try
Gotcha.
this. Try this. Up their bribe like really high.
Right. Okay. So oh, that alarm is just gonna keep going off, isn't it? Oh no.
Just
Right,
walk
so-
off and turn it off, and he'll come back.
Can I really?
Yeah, just snub them. Just like click on the screen outside, and kind of like walk away.
No. Oh,
It'll work.
Oh, you're snubbing him.
And walk
Snub
over
him.
there, and he'll walk back up, or she'll walk back up. But if you can get there fast enough.
Oh, it's Michaela. Yeah. Don't rely on the haircuts.
right. Okay. Add another 500 to the bribe. How high should I push it? Like,
Push it until actually, if their achievement's green, it should work. So offer that bribe amount, 2,500. This should work. There you go. Now you got him as a
Jade
contact.
Fleming grins, adds the bribe to their ledger, and gives you their contact info in case you ever need a friend in the near future.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know if you're going to have options. I can't remember if the close stat that we built includes contacts.
I
Do
can look that
you?
up, actually.
Dan?
Let me double check.
Also, my friend his plane just landed, so I have to leave
Uh-huh.
here in the next 5 minutes or so.
Rel close does not include contacts. Just
Ah,
friends,
bummer.
lovers, ex-lovers, and family.
Maybe I'll change this to friend then in the future.
I like the that it resolves as contact. I think that's a
Okay.
reasonable outcome.
Yeah.
Like it would feel weird if I bought like an actual honest to goodness friend.
Yeah, it wouldn't work like that. You're right. So maybe we can change rel close or something, or I don't know. We can talk about it off screen.
Yeah, I mean there could be an option that's exclusively rel close level relationship too, right? Like it maybe doesn't read as friendly as a close, but it's, you know, the contact still buys you something.
Right. I have to run to greet my friend from San
All
Francisco.
right.
Right,
So
it's been excellent to have you
have
here.
fun the rest of the stream, y'all. And
Yeah, enjoy
Gen
is it
Con?
Gen Con, yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked. And everybody on stream, thanks for coming. This is fun. It's good to see all the Discord regulars hanging around. And as they'll tell you, good stuff on the way for Ostranauts. Very good stuff. Bye, guys.
See ya,
Alright.
Corey.
But yeah, don't worry, the stream is still going to be here for a bit, so you know, feel free to shoot your questions and conversations.
What do you think, Josh? Do you think I want to aim for like another 15-20 minutes?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, you know, because then it would have been about an hour and a half, and that's sort of a good length of stream, I think.
And it's getting late there on your end, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a quarter to 1 a.m. right now.
Woo!
I have had a coffee though. So
Streaming from the future.
I am. It is the future is so cool. We don't, you know, the world hasn't regressed into neo scavenger quite yet in the future.
You can tell us with authority that tomorrow is still Earth.
Still Earth, yes, for now.
Rousseau asks, will there be an experience system or other way of growing in skills, or is it all or nothing like Neo Scavenger? I'm kind of a fan of the all or nothing skill system, ignoring like growth for a minute. I like the idea that you're either strong or you're not, you're either tough or you're not. So I think that part's going to remain. Whether or not you can become tough or get a skill, I'm open to letting the player like train up in a skill so that they go from not knowing how to use a spacesuit to knowing. I don't know how that's going to work yet. there's certainly a lot of things we could do. Like I think the system is built so that it would work. We just have to add those options in. But the harder problem we're having right now is giving you something, an excuse to use all of the skills that are available right now. Like maybe 5 or 10 of the skills. Well, let's say 5 of the like hard engineering skills are pretty useful right now, and then maybe all of the personality traits have an impact on what you can and can't say in conversation, but we still have a lot more to cover.
It's literally just like a little pod. Oh man, that's so
Looks-
disappointing.
Is that the katydid?
It could be. I mean, the nav station's broken, so I can't check the.
You could probably find. Oh, Naiba's chiming in.
Naiba, give
That
us
was a
your
yes,
wisdom.
Naiba?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. We have it from the horse's mouth. This is the katydid design, or what's left of one.
I don't have any image space. Oh gosh. I might be in a slight predicament here because I picked this up without actually having the space to put it back down.
It's a 3x3.
Yes.
Drop it in your hand slot. Oh, can you not carry it?
Try escape.
Ah,
Naiba's
right.
got
Okay.
a trick.
Yes. There we
I'm
go.
a little shocked that actually worked. Once again, don't trust anything I've built because it surprises me when it works. Will there be chickens in space? Because chickens can be useful livestock. I think it'll be interesting to see what makes sense. Like I think the more dense and low impact the farming can be, the more likely you're going to see it in space. Like somebody mentioned shrimp farms. I think shrimp is actually pretty logical. Chickens could be. I'd have to think about that a bit because it may be one of those things where like Hangdao, they've got horses there because they're all too rich for their own good. So of course they have chickens so they can eat fried chicken when they want to. But a person like us is not going to get our hands on chicken. Will there be skills for fixing the HVAC and lights on your starting shuttle? Yeah, I think those skills are actually in the game, but there's no way to earn them yet as part of your career. But there should be. Eventually, there'll be more like career kiosk background events where you can learn skills, if not the ability to learn them later in the game. NASA sent chickens to space. Yep, I'm sure there have been a lot of animals in space. Some maybe that we don't even realize. And we get mystery meat. Yes, Trenchers especially. Trenchers is a fan of their mystery meat product.
Mystery meat is just code for whatever it was most cheap at the time, I think.
It's just less elegant sounding than hot dog.
Yes. Hot dog is not all pig. Lots of things, isn't it?
It's many things, yes. It's
spiders, says in Discord.
and spiders in space.
I think if we added spiders, that would be a really good incentive to also add a proper fire system, so that people could, kill them with fire.
Yes. Yeah, just every now and then you see like a little black skittering thing across the floor.
Oh, time to start another ship fire.
well, this ship's done for. Getting handy with those docking controls.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at this.
Chico says just vent the ship when you see a spider. Spiders are the last thing you need in space because if I remember right, poison is more deadly in low G. I wonder if that's true. I know I've heard that for some things, like viruses and bacteria have an easier time replicating in low gravity. It wouldn't surprise me if the physiology of poison is also. Whoop! Helmet. Helmet.
Oh. Yep. Right. Oh gosh.
Your EVA suit's not that advanced.
Yeah. No. It's not got one of those just magic pop-up helmets.
You just like hit like a wrist button and like it closes over your head.
Yeah. I'm not Iron Man, sadly.
Chico says, I know internal bleeding is bad in 0G. Yeah, I didn't know that, but now I do after watching The Expanse, and it makes a lot of sense. Is this the
The one with that open back.
yeah, the what do they call it? The barge? Scavenger barge or whatever we called it.
Possibly. I think Naiba's the ship.
This one I
launch
think I
vessel.
actually designed. It was this was meant to be the kind of ship that you basically worked on before you went independent in the game. So they just load a bunch of you in on the inside and outside platform, ferry you out to a derelict, and then attach to it, and then you all do your work on it, and then they ferry you back. It's basically like a pickup truck. You're a day laborer that would hop on the back of this pickup truck, go out to a ship, and then come back at the end of your shift.
Oh, I just heard another collision noise, and I see local authority closing fast. So,
Oh, but you don't get the alarm because you're on
Yes.
a unpowered ship
Yes.
without a nav station.
and Merger Wraith says you can buy a wishlist astronauts on Steam.
Thank you, Murder Wraith. Keeping the torch alive. That actually sounds like it's receding from you. Did it move on?
I think it banged into me and then is floated off. So if I
They gave up. They've moved on. They're going after someone else now. You missed your chance.
are they turning around? I can't tell.
I think they're retrothrusting to beliefs the highest faculty.
Let's swap it to name only mode. There we go. Belief is the highest faculty. Deserted soul. We were just on the
So
bright
the-
lion.
I was gonna say the patrol ship's AI, once they give up on you, they won't check you again for, I want to say like 5 minutes or something.
Undue
Let's see.
influence. Terrible blues.
Questions coming up here. Eddie's Kingdom asks, talking about injuries, how's the medical system going to work? And are we going to get bionics? I think if I get my way, medical stuff will work and wounds will work a lot like they did in Neo Scavenger. A lot of the same systems for Neo Scavenger are in Ostranauts, and it's basically picking and pulling parts from Neo Scavenger over to get them working here. Are we going to get bionics? I think it makes sense for some prosthetics to be in the game. I mean, it's the same tech level as Neo Scavenger, and probably even better medical facilities up here in space. So it'll really come down to how much time we have to add items to the game, because there's a lot that we could add, and we'll just get as many as we can. Let's see. Auto docks, 100% rats need to be in space. Rat burgers for the win. Auto docks. I mean, we did kind of a thing like that with the nanorobotic medical kit in Neo Scavenger, which was basically like small auto docks that they don't fix everything in your body, but they basically bolster your body's immune system. And they might be able to suture wounds and stop bleeding and things like that. Will there be like a macroscopic version of that? I think there could be. There's actually a lot of stuff in that realm which is currently in development, like in our time, including like remote surgery with robotic arms and stuff. So I won't say no to that, but I think it'll depend on how far we get with some of the other stuff.
Right, helmet on this time. There we go.
Chico likes the medical system in NeoScav. Thanks, Chico. I kind of like it too. I mean, I guess that goes without saying because I made it, but it does everything I hoped it would do, almost. Oh, is that a crate?
EVA battery. Nice.
You're going to need it. We don't actually know what your battery level is in your EVA suit, do we? Because the helmet doesn't. It's a non-compatible helmet.
Yes. It could be anything. Who knows?
I guess if you start running out of oxygen,
We'll
either
know.
replace the battery or the O2 tank or both.
Oh,
Just
actually,
maybe a heads up for anyone watching. I think we've got about 5 minutes-ish before we'll start wrapping things up.
pretty nice big one.
Jack Schlagen says, I wish you could turn off the EVA suits so I don't have to worry about battery. I think something like that'll probably come because like we're going to need some more fine-tuned controls over the suit you wear and how much air is in it. Like if you wanted to reflood your pressure suit with oxygen from a canister manually, I think you should be able to do stuff like that. So there may be stuff like that. And Zesku the Wolf got nightmares from that damn warning system. Sorry and not sorry. It's doing its job if that's the case.
This has been absolutely stripped to the bone. There's nothing
Goured.
left in this.
If you need floors and walls or conduit, you've come to the right place.
Yeah, screw it. Someone stole some conduit. But yeah, fun fact: this was actually the one that I decided to keep when I first played in the new Time is Money update.
This ship?
Yeah. Got this one, fixed it up pretty good. Got a reactor, load of batteries.
It feels comfortable, like home to you now.
Yeah, no. It's got a nice layout because there's enough space, but it's built like a house rather than a spaceship. Like, it's everything connects in a much more compact way.
Decorate it to suit your taste.
Oh man, we've got to have like home decoration,
Yeah, like I really do want to just inhabit a ship. I just want to sit there in the cockpit and listen to like, I don't know, precipitation on Titan raining on the cockpit.
Yes. Honestly, I think one of our goals should be just to make the experience of having a ship just be so satisfying that the goal is just existing in your ship and everything else is just the periphery to that enables it.
Yeah.
Sort of like in real life, like having a house is simultaneously an incredibly mundane but also incredibly satisfying thing. Having your own space.
Like 30 out of 31 days a month, you're doing maintenance on it and paying bills on it and doing your job so you can pay the mortgage on it. And then that one day you just sit on the porch.
Yes.
Like, I made it.
Oh, actually, there is a heater.
I was gonna say there's a pro tip in Discord chat for EVA suits. If you want to stop the battery or O2 from running down too fast, battery especially, just pop it out of the EVA suit and then pop it in whenever you need a refresh.
Very smart. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning there. You can definitely tell it's nearly 1 a.m.
Well, should we do like a wrap up last few questions before we close things down?
Yeah. So, last 5 minutes, everyone. Send in your coolest questions so we can end on a high note.
Only high note questions. The conduit is or was absolutely exhausting to install. It is. It still is, and I think it's because there's no career event that gives you the electrician or electrical engineering skill. So it's slow to uninstall, unlike the hull pieces, which you can get a skill for. So I think the short solution to that is eventually we're going to have a way to get that skill through your career, or hire somebody on your crew who has that skill, which is another reason to have crew, because you won't be able to have all the skills. But yeah, it is slow going right now.
Jack Schlagen says, will there be a start where you start in just an EVA suit in space?
I haven't thought of that one. I did picture there being one where like you're in a tumbling escape pod after a ship that you were on was destroyed. Like maybe you're in a prison boat and then you manage to escape and you're like crash landing on a planet or something and you have to build your pod back up to escape.
The
But
PAX demo had the sort of the mech suit thing in it, didn't it?
the which?
The
The
sort of
mech
power
suit?
power suit or something.
It just had the same EVA suit that we have now, but the graphics were different, so it looked more like a mech suit.
Right, okay.
But ever since that, people were just like, now I want an exoskeleton in the game.
I think that if we ever made something like that, that would be a really cool and utterly ridiculous start. It's just that
Yeah.
and a tiny bit of, gas that you can use to RCS yourself with your own
You
oxygen,
have
like in The Martian.
15 meters per second of delta V available to you and 20 minutes of oxygen, and then you have to figure out how to survive.
Smarter NPCs asks, can you grab a derelict and use it as a kinetic weapon against K-Leg? I've never tried that. You can fling things. I have flung things before. Pretty sure that the collision system right now doesn't handle it, does it? No.
Yeah, right now the collision system only works on your ship. Although one thing we were talking about doing, the reason it only works on your ship right now is for performance, because checking for collisions between everything and everything else is expensive, but we might be able to do it where we like stretch the collision detection across multiple frames. So like this frame we check your ship and like 5 NPC ships. The next frame we check your ship again and 5 different NPC ships. And we might be able to do it like that, so at least occasionally, multiple times a second, it's checking an NPC ship, and then throwing your ship at K-Leg would register as a collision.
Can stuff collide with the asteroid? It can't, can it? Oh, has my internet done that thing again? Hello? Hello?
I think it's Dan that's down.
Aha, right, so it's not me, because it was me last time. I see. No, Dan! And I'm going into K-Leg way too fast. I've just realised it's too late. Quick, slow down. Right, Dan is gone. I guess then. Oh, I just hear him. I heard something vaguely Dan sounding. Hello, Dan. Are you there? No. Okay. Right. I think then, since Dan has mysteriously disappeared, this is probably a good time to end the stream. Thank you everybody for coming along. It's been pretty good. It's been nice to. Yeah, the space dogmen got him. It's been great to hear from everyone. There's been tons of people in the Discord. A load of people in the Twitch chat. So that's been really good. And yes, it is to future updates of Ostranauts. Thank you all for coming along. Right, I'm going to end the stream now. Goodbye, everybody.